Evelyn, thank you so much. It's so amazing that you agreed in the heat of the moment and said yes to come and have a conversation with me. I so appreciate that. I know you're a busy person. I know you do phenomenal work with youth, with women, and to have you speaking to me is an honor.
You're such a special person in this network, and how could you say no? How can one say no? Like, you do so much, and if you're making the time to do this, then we have to say yes, right? Because we're a network that's here to support each other. So it's hard
Well,
to say no to you.
okay, all right. Thank you, honored again. But I know you and I know the work you do, but I would want people to get to know you a little better. So how about you tell everyone, what do you do in your day to day?
Yeah. I started my career in nonprofit a long time ago, and I saw the need for a little bit of a shift to engage the private sector with nonprofit. And so I left for a little bit to do my MBA, and I did some consulting as well. So that gave me a little exposure to the private sector and social purpose in a different way. And now that I'm done, I've come back to the nonprofit space. I created a network for women in nonprofit, which I look forward to every month. And now I'm back with the Career Foundation in a different role, doing strategic partnership and just trying to do some workforce development that's responsive to the labor market. And the labor market is shifting so much right now that it's like walking in quicksand and trying to figure out some stable footing. So that's where I'm at right now. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting that you spoke about the labor market piece, because that's what triggered the series in the first place. The messages that I was getting, the information that was floating online about job loss and, people who were in transition or were looking to move, how they were feeling completely in distress. And there was panic and uncertainty. So I'm glad that I have an expert who works in that space. And the other thing I wanted to say, it's so wonderful to hear that you went and did your MBA and then you decided to come back and work in the nonprofit again, which shows what kind of a person you are.
It's just the passion that drives you, right?
Yeah.
But having that sort of different set of skills then allows me to do some more strategic work. So it's been
wonderful.
Great. Yeah.
So how has COVID-19 impacted your personal space in terms of your routine? How has that changed on a day-to-day basis? And again, also share a bit about what is happening professionally.
Well, I was lucky that when I came back to work, I was able to work at home. Because I was on the road a lot with partnerships, that it just made sense to work at home. And so my personal everyday routine hasn't changed so much, except that I have my husband at home. And we are sharing space, and he's on webinars all day with his team, and so am I. And so when he walks to the kitchen, I'm like, don't turn on that faucet right now, but just sharing space right now is a little challenging, but thank God we're safe, and that's all we can ask for. Yeah, and I live in a condo, and so it's pretty tight quarters. Everything just, sounds so loud. So yeah, he's hopefully gone for a walk now, so I can have some peace while we do this.
Oh my goodness. So we are all having the same challenges of managing around other people and learning to work while we are all working from home. What about how are you structuring your professional space with, you said partnerships, and you said you used to be on the road. How's that coming along?
Yeah, I mean, that has curbed a lot. While in-person meetings have curbed a lot, we're doing a lot more virtually. I, have to have a lot more meetings online and calls. And, at the end of the day, there's so many hours were spent on phone, or virtually this way. But I found work to have been intensified, and the hours are much longer. And when somebody works at home, they already have challenges with boundaries between work and home,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that has happened even more now. And as people, start working at home a great deal more, they will need to set clear boundaries, or else, they can burn out quite quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But we have transitioned all our services to online, and we continue to serve clients that way. So we needed to do things very quickly to make those adjustments. And luckily, we're sort of settling down now, and hopefully we'll see a bit of routine set in.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that part. With the change, and we have also started working from home in my team. So the first week was a bit of everybody getting a bit antsy with how it would unfold, but then thankfully for us, we found a rhythm very quickly. By the second week, we were already into the groove of things. We do miss each other,
Yeah.
working together. So we've come up with having virtual meetings while either on lunch or having coffee breaks together, or picking up the phone and having conversations instead of just depending on the meeting or once or twice a month.
Yeah.
So it's still better, but again, I have been pushed into my out of my comfort zone rather, by wearing these headphones. I do not like wearing headphones at all, but now I have to wear them a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's definitely something that has happened for me as well.
Yeah, I never liked being on camera. It's something I had to get comfortable with very quickly.
Yeah, I know we're all having to discover how much we are willing to push because of what's happening. So, have do you have any pieces of advice for people who are navigating this time? We are lucky. We have a job and we are still working. But for people who are struggling, what would you say to them?
I think there are a couple of things. You know, our health comes first, right? And no job is worth our health, and so it's really important to take precautions to protect ourselves and our family. That's so important. We have to continue doing that. And thankfully, the government has acted really quickly to put some supports in place for people who have lost their jobs. And I know we've put out telephone numbers for people to call, and they can get some help quickly filling out the forms for benefits online. And so people can also just email us and get that help as well. So supports are there. There's also a lot of jobs that are vacant right now, and people are looking to hire. Of course, they are those jobs that are critical, right? In the supply chain, in the groceries, and while some people may not, that's not their training, and that's not something that they were thinking they would do. Those are the opportunities right now, and we need to make decisions for our families, right? But also the third thing is that the economy is going to come back up, right? It's we need to look at the functions that support society right now, and those are the jobs that exist right now, and they're valuable, meaningful, life-sustaining jobs. But also the economy is going to come back up, and we need to be ready for that. And we could take our time to take some courses online, like develop our skill sets and our mindsets for when the economy comes back, so we could be prepared to take on whatever comes with that. So we have a little bit of time to do that right now, and we should.
Completely with you on that. It is a time when we should be preparing for what the future holds, and also looking at opportunities that exist. Would you redirect any specific either portals or social media places where people should be looking for the opportunities that are out there?
At the Career Foundation, for example, on our website, we're posting all the jobs. We're putting it all on our social media. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're following the Career Foundation at all, or people could just go to the website careerfoundation.com,
Mm-hmm.
they'll be able to access those jobs. We're inviting employers to do information sessions for people.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a series of events coming up with employers who will tell them about the jobs that they're trying to fill. And so then people can easily apply and we'll help them through that process.
And these will be virtual?
Absolutely. So
Wonderful.
the information sessions are all virtual. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yes. Yes.
That's amazing. I think anybody can sign up and get benefit from that,
Yeah.
even if that's not the role they're immediately looking at, but in the future, that can be something that they might want.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's amazing. Um, what kind of acts of kindness have you observed in the community? This whole pandemic has brought a lot of kindness and empathy on the surface. Have you been observing something that's in the community or on social media platforms that you'd want to give shout outs to?
Last night I was checking out Facebook, which is not a place that I visit often enough. But I saw a friend of mine, sharing really openly about the struggles that she was having. And actually, she was sick, but not with COVID, thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
That she was sick, and she was sharing that just people in her network were willing to go to do grocery shopping for her and bring things home that would help her and her kids because she couldn't go out. She's very at risk at the moment. And I thought, that's so beautiful. That's when it really counts, these connections that we make. My parents' neighbors will pop their head over the fence and say, please let us know if you need anything, we're going to the grocery store. And they know my parents have 6 kids. We will, if they need anything, they can call us, but still they're willing to offer help. I was dropping off some groceries yesterday to my parents' house, and somebody drove by and just, dropped off something for one of my nephews, and I thought, that's really beautiful. Like, it was Easter, right? So they
Uh-huh.
were dropping off a kit of Easter eggs, and I thought,
Wow.
they remember the kids, and I thought that's really special. So while we are doing social distancing for sure, there are these moments that we're seeing where people are in need, where you want to make people feel special. There's still ways that you can do that.
That's so true. That's so beautiful. Uh, it doesn't have to be something huge
No.
to, to make that impact. Such a beautiful gesture just to drop off Easter eggs or ask somebody who's your neighbor to see if they're doing okay and if you can do something for them. Amazing. That's so wonderful. What is it that you personally have been doing with structuring around the present scenario?
Mm-hmm. Last week, I am an internal, like an ever so optimistic person that sometimes people think, oh, here comes Pollyanna again.
Well,
Uh,
you and I are on that, we literally are on the same page. I've been blamed of being overly optimistic.
And it makes me question sometimes, am I being realistic enough? But I feel like this is the best way for me to live my life, and I'm happy to be happy and share a chair where I can.
Oh.
Yeah, but last week I wasn't feeling so cheerful, and I was speaking to my colleagues with the Women in Nonprofit Network, and saying, as a nonprofit person, yes, we closed the doors to keep our people and our communities safe, and we continue to provide services online. But what about those people who can't access services online, right? what are we doing for them? And so quickly we started talking about ways that we could help them. And so from our side, like, we've put little brochures in the food hampers. One of my colleagues runs a family center that's a food distribution place. And so she's taken the information and put it in the food hamper, so at least people could phone and get help applying. And we will do the application online. We just need to talk to them over the phone to get it done, you know. Another colleague, she does advocacy against women in domestic violence situation. And, you know, we were talking about just doing more of that, because that's happening. Like, not everybody's safe at home.
Yes.
You know, so
home is not necessarily the safest place for everyone.
Yes, right. And so we started talking about that. And our group usually meets once a month, and we had canceled it originally for April, but we've since made it an online meeting. So we're going to talk about things we could do as a network to help the community even further. But I'm really also grateful. I've been seeing the City of Toronto doing a lot of good stuff for, you know, at-risk communities, and you know, making sure that people in shelters are also safe. Like, you know, they're looking at social distancing within the shelter system and all of that. So people are doing really good stuff, and we're contributing to that, absolutely.
Well, I can say the same for Peel. There's a lot that's happening in Peel, but then I'm so glad that you touched upon the pieces where the vulnerable populations, the at-risk populations, who do not have access to either the digital space or do not have the resources to partake from, that you're taking initiatives for them and finding ways to reach them, because honestly, that is the population that we need to be mindful of and be considerate of. And it's a brilliant idea that hampers are, you know, in your food hampers, you're putting the phone information so that people know where to reach and who to reach, how to go about their stuff, which is amazing, which is a great way to reach people who would not have had access to that information without you sharing it. So I'm really glad, and these are the resources that are needed in the community. These really are meaningful resources. Tell us a little bit more about the Women in Nonprofit piece that you run.
Yeah, it started off just by, like, you wanting to do something and build that connection, maintain that connection. And so when I had left to go back to school, that's the one thing I missed, is the camaraderie with the women I worked with. And so I thought, I had thought about it for months, and I thought, I just need to start. Like, I need to stop thinking and just do it. And now we, you know, because Women in Nonprofit give so much, you know, they're just giving and giving. You know, I really wanted to make sure there was a place where they're nurtured and they're feeling safe. And also we contribute to topics around their skill development, you know, leadership development. How do you deal with challenging situations at work? And so it's grown quite organically. It's not meant to be some massive network. It's meant to have that connection and safety to it, where you can come and share. Here's where I'm at right now, and I need some support, and that's what we're here to do. So really enjoying it, and I love that it's just growing naturally. And you know, I'm not doing any kind of strategy behind it. It's just like
organic.
Just we're here. If you want to join. It's
what I hear is it's so beautiful. It's the relationship piece that we speak to. It's about holding each other up and making sure that everybody has we have each other's back, and that's what we need to do. This is so beautiful. I'm impressed.
Well, just like you. Well, just like you,
Just like
I think that, we have these desires in our hearts, and it takes that one bold move to get things moving. And then, we come together and we help each other. We've seen women get jobs from it.
mm-hmm.
We've seen women create some connections that really boosted their own confidence and skill sets. And yeah, we just continue to grow that way.
That's so wonderful. I hope more women join and learn and grow with it. That's
Yeah.
so wonderful. Now, you being such an amazing person and constantly giving, how about we shine the light on you
Mm.
and ask you if there was a magic wand and you could say, "Hey, this is a wish that I would like to have." What would that be?
Well, I definitely want them to come up with a vaccine pretty soon, because then we can cure everybody, right? And
Yeah.
and we can go back to normal. But there was a thing that happened through this process. I think that two things: that people remembered what was important to them, and that was family and friends and that connection. And while we can't meet in person, we can still connect this way.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're busy and the economy is at full blast, we're running after these ambitious goals, and we sometimes forget what's really important. And while I never wanted this to happen, at least we should look for the good that happened out of it. And I think that's the one thing that happened, where people recognize that they need to continue nurturing those relationships, because they're the things that are life sustaining.
That's so
Yeah. And then the second piece is resiliency, right? I think we can't get overwhelmed by this. Certainly it is overwhelming.
yeah.
And people have been personally impacted in so many ways, but we always rise. We always rise. And I think that we're going to see that. We're going to see
Mhm.
strong people come out of this, and everyone's going to come out of this, because this too will pass.
Absolutely. And that's the statement, the sentiment that I've been hearing time after time, that this too shall pass.
Mhm.
It will pass, and it will leave us stronger and more resilient and more prepared. My desire and my hope is that we continue to be as kind as we are being right now.
Mm.
We continue to have the same empathy
Yeah.
and the humane sentiments that have risen to the top because of this hardship continue to grow.
Yeah.
And we start caring for people as people, instead of looking at them as the other.
Mm-hmm.
That just would be so wonderful.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm
Yeah,
with you. I'll say that prayer with you for sure. There are no other, right?
yeah, there
COVID
are
isn't discriminating anybody,
exactly.
and everyone's impacted, and those who are privileged are also impacted. And so, the people who are supporting our society are the ones that sometimes, we didn't think very highly of, but they're keeping us alive right now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everyone has value, and we need to remember that when this is over.
Well, that's the wish, and that's the ask, that we remember what happened.
Yeah.
We don't forget. We don't go back to those ways that are not going to serve us or anyone well.
Yeah.
What is it that you would advise people in this time to continue to do, from the perspective of people who are in the labor market?
Mm-hmm.
A tangible way that they should be thinking, or steps that they should be taking?
Mm-hmm. In terms of getting yourself ready for jobs next, I think, like I mentioned earlier, definitely keep developing your skills, but this is the time to update your resume. And it's not just about, a quick template from online. It's about really thinking about the accomplishments you've had over the years, and identifying also the things that you were excited about, the things that made you get up every day,
Mm-hmm.
and really identify those, and start looking for opportunities around those, because they're going to be the ones that are really fulfilling, you know and so really identify where you want to go when the economy bounces back, and demonstrate how your skill sets can get you there. So employers, once you have your marketing materials ready and you send them out, employers will start calling again. So make sure you focus on your skill development, getting yourself ready, but also taking a moment, to you can't pour from an empty vessel, I said to my friend. Right now people are feeling overwhelmed if they're out of work, or even if they're at work right now. I keep seeing things on social media. You have the time, so use it well, and all these things. And I wonder, where did the time come from? Like,
Mm-hmm.
even if you're unemployed right now, you're searching for a job really, full time.
Mm-hmm.
Your
Job
mind is
search is
overwhelmed right now.
such
Full
such
time
a
job.
yes, exactly. That's what like job search is a full-time job.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And we need to remember that we need to take some time for ourselves to get clarity, in our minds before we act. Because sometimes you're acting out of desperation and you make the wrong move. So take time. Even myself, I'm trying to focus a little bit more because everything's coming at me at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided that I'm going to try out meditation, just 15 minutes in the morning and 15 in the afternoon, just so I can have some more space in my mind to deal with the challenges that I'm dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
So while I can say I encourage you to develop your skills and get yourself ready for an effective job search, I can also say make sure you take some time to nurture you, because people are counting on you and you can't give if you're not taking care of yourself.
Wow. What a wonderful piece of advice. And this is what I tell people myself as well. It resonates so much that you can't take care of people if you are not doing well. And this is especially for women that I
Especially.
see, they will put themselves last. And as a provider, as a nurturer, they will they will always put everybody else first, and in the process sometimes they're not taking the time to look after their own needs.
Yeah.
So very, very important to be mindful of your own needs, your own space, um, having that a little bit of me time, whatever makes you happy, even if it's like something that you can enjoy, even if it's breathing just by itself, or
Yeah.
looking at plants, or a craft, any of those things that can really be bring peace
Mm-hmm.
to your own heart. That's healing. That's healing pretty much. That's such a wonderful point that you made, Duncan. It's so refreshing to me personally, and I'm sure others are going to find it as inspiring. What inspires you? What do you enjoy?
What inspires me is strength, women's strength. I had a coach not too long ago, through ICF, which has been great, to nonprofits, helping them to get some coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And my coach helped me to think through, if everything was stripped away, what would be the thing that I would want to engage in, you know? And it was definitely working with women, and helping them to just empower themselves and see their own potential.
Hmm.
That is something that it's so deep inside me. And I guess that's why the network happened. It's because I want to empower women to fulfill their potential. And that when I see, women overcoming things, and yes, you're fearful, but courage is feeling the fear and moving forward anyway, right?
That's
And
true.
that's the stuff that inspires me. What I enjoy to do, what I enjoy to do is I do learn a lot. I mean, my mind needs to keep busy all the time. Like I need to learn. I need to be engaging in challenging things all the time. I
Mm-hmm.
really enjoy that because when things get too routine, I get quite bored.
Mm.
So yeah, so otherwise, I spend my time playing some board games and
Okay.
yeah. Otherwise, just normal stuff, normal day-to-day stuff.
Wonderful. It's been so much fun talking to you, Evelyn. It's been so much fun. What is that one last piece of advice or share that you would want to leave us with?
I think you said it earlier. I think it's about healing. Let's remember to focus time for healing ourselves, and then we could start helping to heal others, because that's what we need right now, you know.
Thank you. Thank you so much again. You've been so amazing. I'm so grateful for all the nuggets of wisdom that you've shared. And I hope that you continue to do the work you are doing, because it's so important and meaningful.
And thank you for this. I think you are moving a real positive social movement forward, and it's really important. So thank you so much for what you're doing as well.
Please make sure to like and subscribe and ring the notification bell to keep updated with all our videos. Thank you.